The Utah Mammoth is sorta proud to present NASHCAST.
What the is a NASHCAST?
NASHCAST, the only hockey show on the planet. Hosted by a human speed bag, fourth line wannabe, healthy scratch, schnozzy moto, Tyson Nash.
Who the hell is Tyson Nash?
Never heard of him.
And the baritone with a brain, the velvet hammer, Mr. Silky, Tono Suave, the radio voice of your Utah Mammoth,
Code Blue!
Mike Folta.
Oh, Captain, my Captain!
NASHCAST begins now.
Ready for takeoff.
Here's Tyler Ganoush and Mickey Foghorn. Wait, what? Oh, here's Tyson Nash and Mike Folta.
Feeling good, Folksy. Ho, definitely not looking good, but feeling good. And I will tell you why. The playoffs, buddy. The playoffs. Are you kidding me? How exciting in this. I know you've been following the team all year long, the last couple of years. So well deserving. And this is a big moment in Utah Mammoth history.
Yeah, the Mammoth, right after we recorded the last episode last week, they clinched the playoffs the next day after the episode dropped on Thursday. So this is the first time we're talking about the Utah Mammoth in the postseason. And it was a goal that this team set out on at the start of the year, and they've come through. Now, there's still work to be done. Mammoth still want to nail down that top wild card spot because that's going to be a lot better seed in the playoffs. But they won 5 in a row to clinch a playoff spot. And Tyson, you covered this core while they were in Arizona for a long time. Like, it had to have been pretty cool for you to see Keller and Schmaltz, Gunther and Cooley, Krause, those guys with head coach Andre Turney clinch a playoff spot.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I've been watching Clayton Keller since he was 18, Lawson Krause, not much older. McBain, you go down the list, right? And Coach Andre Turney, the work that he has put in, the entire coaching staff. And I will say this once again. I know we talked a lot about it, Fultz, on the broadcast doing radio. What a pleasure that was. Always so much fun hanging out with you, buddy. Watching you do your thing. You're literally your voice, your pipes. Some of the best in the league. So that was fun. But I will say this, Clayton Keller, again, I can't say it enough. I do not think, for everything in me, that Andre Turney and especially Bill Armstrong and his staff were ready to talk about playoffs in the summertime when Clayton Keller came out and just said it. Just said it. He let it fly. And once you say it, you can't take that back. And that was almost like throwing it out into existence and then being accountable for it, which when you look down the roster, right, you look at Keller, the year he's had, maybe not as many points as he had last year, but bigger points, like way bigger points when they mattered. Nick Schmaltz, same thing with him, how he's played defensively, his 200-foot game, his new contract. I mean, all of it, right? This team has come together, and I truly believe there's lots of moments in a season that can galvanize a group. And sadly, I think Clayton Keller's father passing away was also one of those moments, just watching him, their captain, go through what he did. The sadness, the conversations I'm sure he had in the locker room, on the airplane, in the hotel rooms, right? That stuff, really builds, team cohesion and brings guys together. How can it not, right? And This is a family. I've been saying that forever. So it's nice to see.
You mentioned Keller. He had 90 points last year, career high. I think right now, as we record this, he's on pace for like 88. I mean, he's getting up there, Tyson. And factor in that the power play had been at the bottom of the league all year this year when it was top 10 last year. So he's not getting as many of those, kind of power play cookies, right? And he's been unbelievable. As we record this, he's got an 8-game point streak. I mean, you mentioned when his father passed, we learned on Thanksgiving in Dallas, and Tyson, you could just feel the emotion just dripping off of not just Clayton, but the whole team. Like Lawson Krause was talking to the media. I think he was the one talking right after that Dallas game, um, and like he was emotional, right? Like you could tell the weight that everybody on the team carried, but they carried it together as much as they could. And uh, huge credit to Clayton Keller, who is Utah's Bill Masterton Award trophy nominee for this year. It's like the comeback player of the year. You got that, Tyson. You got Dylan Gunther scoring 40 goals. I mean, I don't think we're surprised at that, but just to finally have it on paper is pretty crazy.
Yeah, for him to actually do it, right? There's been lots of talk, and you can talk till the cows come home, but we all knew that Dylan Gunther at some point was going to hit 40, and he's not done. I think next year he hits 50. What this does to his confidence, which is so important. Nick Schmaltz hitting 30 for the first time in his career. And Lawson Krause, we talked about this on the radio broadcast the other day too. For me, is the unsung hero really of this hockey team. How he has rebounded from his season last year. I don't even think he hit 20 points last year, and now he's sitting at 22 or 23 goals, just a couple away from his career high. But he's a beast. How he plays, how he sticks up for his teammates, what he's going to mean to this group come playoff time. Like Jack McBain, hopefully he's healthy here real soon. Guys like Kerfoot, Liam O'Brien, Tanev, and Lawson Krause. Those guys are going to be massive in the playoffs. They have to be.
Yeah, and the Mammoth kind of en route to clinching that playoff spot. Tyson, it was all the big boys that were getting it done, right? It was Keller and Schmaltz and Gunther and Cooley and Sergachev, and all these guys had point streaks. Throw Krause in there certainly as well, but really cool to see that the best players for the Mammoth being the best players down the stretch. So we were in Calgary the other night, and Tyson, if you ever want to get some engagement, on social media, just post something about the Scotiabank Saddle Dome, because I threw up what I thought was a harmless tweet before we played Calgary, and I was like, I actually liked the old building. And I got my comments were full of Calgary people I've never heard of, never met before. Everyone had something to say, mostly negative about that whole
For what? How can you? I mean, it's been their home for forever. I mean, don't. It'd be different if you're ripping on it, right? Like I could easily rip on the thing. I mean, the thing was underwater at one point. I mean, let's go. What are we talking about? Calgary, let's go. I mean, I'm from Edmonton. I always hated Calgary. There was that Battle of Alberta, and those rinks back in the day were awful. But character. Think of the character. Think of the championships. Think of the Stanley Cups. Think of all the great things that happened in that Saddle Dome building, the crushed can, I like to call it. So much history. And same with Edmonton. That Northlands Coliseum was awful, but that was my childhood, right? And for me to get an opportunity to play in both those rinks when I made the National Hockey League, those were big, big moments for me.
Dom Moore brought something up when we were at the Saddle Dome, and he was talking about how at Scotiabank Saddle Dome in Calgary, they have a very small lower bowl, and so it kind of feels like you're playing in one of those old junior rinks, whereas a lot of buildings now have a really big lower bowl, because the more seats you have in the lower bowl, that's more expensive tickets that you can charge, right? Like if you have a big upper bowl, those are the cheaper tickets. You want your lower bowl to be bigger. So all the arenas being built now have these huge lower bowls. But Tyson, when you're playing at the Saddle Dome, does it feel like the fans are on top of you because you do have that bigger upper bowl and the smaller lower seating area?
Yeah, I didn't really think about it, to be honest. It certainly feels different. It feels a little weird when you're skating around, ripping around, no bucket on a warm up. I got beat up in that Saddle Dome by Bill Lindsay, a guy I work with now today. It's so classic. But we share a studio every once in a while at NHL Network. But he laid the boots to me back in the Saddle Dome. He was a pretty boy back then. I think I just fought Sean Avery, so I was like feeling pretty confident. I'm like, okay, who am I gonna fight tonight? I'm like, look at this pretty boy. He had this long blonde hair. He's from Florida. I'm like, I'm gonna tune this kid in. Well, didn't go so well. I finished third in that fight, Fultz. But again, it's classic. But Alberta for me, Edmonton too. Thank God I never got beat up in Edmonton. But I ran over George Laraque one night. I scored a huge goal in front of my family and friends. So those were moments I'll certainly never forget.
Wow, that one of the nights you were paying for or playing for free, huh?
Yeah, those tickets are not free, folks. Even family, pay attention. He almost broke me a couple times.
I got a funny story I have to ask you another time, maybe not this episode, but I'm just priming you about because the Mammoth could play Vegas. And right, if the playoffs ended as we were recording this on Monday, the Mammoth would be playing Vegas in the first round. And I have a story to ask you about, and the subject line is marker. At a casino. I got
Who
clued into
told you?
this.
Matt
I
McConnell,
I got
that prick. He's got a big flapper, right? Oh, geez, that's a great story. If
hey,
you guys play Vegas, I am coming. I think I'm coming either way. I'm showing up at Edmonton, my hometown, or it could be, right? Very
yeah.
well could be Edmonton or Vegas. Is that where we're coming down to?
I mean, it could. There's like 5 different teams as we record this that the Mammoth could play. Because if Utah slides back to wild card 2, well, then you're playing Colorado, and you got to fight your way
Oh,
to the
yeah.
Central. You don't want that.
No.
Like LA could even jump up and take that top Pacific spot, which the Mammoths would then play LA in the first round. But if Utah if Utah wins these next couple games, then you control your own destiny. You take that first wild card spot and you play the winner of the Pacific, which you'd much rather do than play Colorado. But it could, as we record this, it could be Vegas, Edmonton, Anaheim, LA, or Colorado. Those are the 5 right now, I believe.
Yeah.
So, I think a series with Vegas would be incredible. Tyson, they've had a down
Yeah.
year, and it's just
Goaltending, struggling.
oh my gosh. Well, and
Yeah.
it's what, a 3 or 4 hour drive from Salt Lake City down I-15 to
Oh, yeah.
Vegas.
I'll be
So,
there. I'll be there with that marker, Fultz. Let's go. Let's go. Roll the bones. Let's go. Snake eyes. Woo.
hey, are you a craps guy? Are you a craps guy? Or
I love craps.
okay.
I love craps. Then there's Matt McConnell over at the penny slots, right? I didn't even think those things existed. And his arm, he could barely pull that lever down, those little pencil arms of his. So suck it, McConnell. You're going to get it. You're flapping your lips. But I would stay away personally. I don't mind Edmonton. I don't mind Anaheim. I mean, I really don't. I would stay the hell away from Colorado though, because they are just built. I know we played them tough in the regular season, very close games, all the things, but playoffs, they want to elevate. They just toy with teams in the regular season. They really do. I mean, they dummy teams. But if Utah won, that would be the biggest upset maybe in NHL history. So I guess we'll see. Can't wait.
We do have our guest AJ Mleczko coming up in just a bit. We'll get to AJ. Tyson had a great chat with her. Any league stuff you want to hit on first? Did you see like Ovechkin and Crosby taking the face off? What could be the last time those 2 guys play against each other?
Well, and you got to think, right? That's, I mean, that's kind of telling the story, right? I mean, no one has a crystal ball. I guess Ovechkin could change his mind at any moment, but that to me was kind of a statement that, hey, this is probably going to be the last time we play against each other. Let's get a picture. Let's hug it out. Let's sing Kumbaya. I was sad. That's how I would put it. I was super sad because those 2 guys have been so entertaining for so long. The battle, right? Just the war between those 2 guys, especially early on in their careers. I mean, they hated each other. It was such a comparison, right? But both went on to have unreal careers, do something really special, and in both their cases, right? No, Crosby didn't get the scoring record, but Ovechkin did. But Crosby, is there any better of a captain in the last 20 years than him?
Well, and you were playing this time, right, Tyson? Like, what did they do for the league when they came in after the lockout and kind of were these 2 young faces of the NHL?
Well, you look at any sport, right? I mean, that was them. I mean, it was, like, I don't even know what to make as far as comparisons. I mean, Larry Bird and, Magic Johnson, I mean, Michael Jordan. And I mean, you just go down, that's what they did for hockey. Those two faces. And I'll never forget. I actually was on the ice. I think I coughed up the puck for Ovechkin on that, one of his best goals of all time in the 900 and whatever he scored. So I'll always live forever on the internet giving that puck up. But I mean, you were just like, these 2 kids are phenoms, right? I mean, now it's McDavid. Now it's, McKinnon. Now it's Makar. Now it's Hughes. But, for the longest time, it was Ovechkin and Crosby.
Yeah, big Really cool scene. Really cool scene there in Pittsburgh. Ovi has not made that official retirement announcement, but it sure kind of feels like it when you're watching these scenes. But let's get to your conversation with AJ Mleczko, one of our friends from the ESPN side, who was in Salt Lake City the other day, calling that big win for the Mammoth against the Oilers.
Well, our next guest, are you kidding me? First of all, I don't know what she's wearing. I'm Canadian, she's American. This is just not right. Right off the start, from Nantucket, Massachusetts. I think I probably butchered that maybe a little bit, but college D1 athlete, the Harvard, the Crimson Tide, I believe it was, won a national title in '99. Also the Patty Kazmaier Award, best female college ice hockey player in the U.S. Like, this is a resume. I'm just saying. New England's Woman Hall of Fame, National Polish American Hall of Fame. Are you kidding me? This is some serious hardware. Who am I talking to right now? AJ Mleczko, is that you? Like, I feel like this is like better than Wayne Gretzky's resume. Are you kidding me?
Wait, can I edit what you just said? Because it was like 50%. I mean, just in terms of pronunciation, like Patty Kazmaier, you're close. Harvard is the Crimson. The Crimson Tide, I think, is Alabama. But you know what? Either way, we'll go with it. I mean, you're Canadian, so we'll forgive you. But I mean, the general gist of it was accurate. I just, just work on the delivery there.
This is why you're on the show. Maybe the lippiest person I know, and can put me in my place. I know you're from Boston, Nantucket, and I love Boston. I lived in Worcester, Massachusetts. Actually, I lived in Marlborough, so Worcester was tough. I don't know if I saw anyone with a full set of teeth there, but I did
yourself.
love. Hey, mine was hockey related, all right? But
I live actually very close. I'm probably about maybe 40 minutes from Worcester. So I'm close to that. But yeah, Marlborough, my kids all played hockey there at that big super rink there.
Yeah.
So I didn't know you were a mass hole for a while. That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah. So are you like the Boston person I love, or are you a masshole? Like, you kind of seem like a masshole.
Aren't they sort of the same? I mean, don't we all love massholes? They're right.
Do we?
Yeah, we do.
I thought it's like asshole, but you're a masshole.
No, it's an affectionate term. Come on, Tyson. You've been in Arizona.
It's like, okay, yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah.
And by the way, I didn't even get to your biggest accomplishments, which were your 1928 gold medal that you won. Right?
1928. Do I look really? I look really good, don't I? I'm very well preserved for being a 1928 gold medalist.
I'm just kidding. 98. All right, and 2002 in Utah's Salt Lake City. Are you kidding me? Like, that is a resume. This is my favorite part of the job, right? When I know you, holy, what'd you say? What'd you say?
Nothing. My dogs are barking. Oh, wait, that was good. I was a little slow on that. Damn it! I hate when you get the one up on me. Anyway.
So this is my favorite part of the job, though. Like, doing the research on you. I mean, I know you, I know of you, all the things, but I didn't know, like, diving deep into your history. I mean, this is remarkable. This is a resume. What are you most proud of?
Oof. That's actually, I'm not sure I've ever even been asked that question, and I also don't want to give you the props of that either, to have come up with a thought-provoking question right off the bat. I thought this was just going to be shenanigans. I think that what am I most proud of? I would say that the relationships that I've built with people, and that's my teammates from 98 and 02. I'm still really close with my teammates from 98. Constantly on a text chain with them whenever I'm broadcasting. They're always giving me, crazy words to say and different things, and giving me grief for whatever I'm doing or saying. I think that obviously my family and the people that I've run into, along the way in terms of my broadcasting career. But accolades-wise, I mean, being on that 98 team is really, it's cliche to say it, but it was the first time women's hockey was ever in the Olympics. So it was so unique. The fact that we have the first ever gold medal awarded to women's hockey, and every athlete that went to Nagano that year, every women's hockey athlete that went to Nagano that year was a rookie, which is pretty wild when you think about it. That our whole team, but nobody had been to the Olympics before. So it's something that I don't think would ever be replicated in terms of the entire women's hockey tournament and being all the way over in Japan. So I can't say that Salt Lake was the same. I mean, I love Salt Lake City, and we were excited to be the hosts and the defending champs, but we choked.
Who'd you lose to?
Oh, I can't remember. I don't know. It was a long time ago. I can't really remember. Well, we were the underdogs in Nagano, and we knocked off the favorites, Canada, and then we were the heavy favorites in Salt Lake, and they knocked us off. So
Heavy, eh?
We beat them 8 times leading up to it. The only game we lost the entire season was on February 22nd. Literally, we beat them 8 times, did not lose to them once until the gold medal game. So, I mean, it's pretty heavy. And so I do laugh that, going back to Salt Lake, I did the very first Mammoth game. It wasn't the Mammoth, Utah Hockey Club with ESPN, and going back to Salt Lake, it was pretty cool to be back there. I mean, I've been back, but not for hockey stuff, and just seeing the town and the crowd and how excited they are for hockey. I mean, obviously it had been over 20 years since we had competed there, but what a great hockey city.
Yeah, unreal. I mean, were you surprised at all when that all went down? That the Utah finally, I mean, they deserve it. I mean, these fans are absolutely nuts. I know you do games here. You were here last week. You're here again, I think next week or in a few days as we post this. But does it blow the socks off you? I know you said that a few times. You're just
I only do
away.
Utah games when I know that Tyson's not in Utah, so I make sure that ESPN sort of scouts the area and make sure that there's no Tyson Nash sighting. So yes, I will be back for their final regular season game against St. Louis. You know what? I don't know if surprise is the right word. I'd heard so many rumors and so many different cities batted around. Obviously, even after Vegas and then when Seattle got the team, and you hear all this stuff. I guess I'm always surprised when things actually happen because you hear the rumors for so long in our business. But I was, even just the way it went though, the fact that it's a new franchise, right? They're not even calling it an expansion franchise. And so it's just all of that stuff. And then the way the Smiths have handled it. I mean, they've done such a good job. I've met them a couple times, the enthusiasm and it's incredible what they've done and the energy they brought, and being there last year and then this year and seeing the, just the physical changes that they've done to the Delta Center, which by the way, that is not where we lost the game. We were at the E Center. I don't even know if the E Center, is that still around?
I don't know.
I don't know. So the Delta Center was where the figure skating and I think short track was.
Right.
So just to be very clear, that building I still very much enjoy that building. I have no hard feelings on it. But in terms of the seating and what they've been able to do, and then getting a name this year and everything, I just think I'm really looking forward to maybe getting around in the Mammoth. I mean, that's my next bucket list item that I'm hoping.
Are you doing the Open? I heard you might be doing the Open for ESPN on the Mammoth.
We'll see. It's work in progress. Efforting, as they say. Efforting.
People just love this thing. It's unbelievable. I think I'm going for a ride tomorrow as we speak. I think that's the Carolina game as we're recording this. But you
don't remember you were actually on it last night.
I'm surprised you haven't said it looks like me. I mean, it's modeled right after me, my big giant schnoz.
I think you're flattering yourself.
So you called the game one of the best games of the year. I mean, I pulled my hamstring jumping off the couch. The goals, the Utah Mammoth was up 3-1. Then, Edmonton Storm's back. It ended up 6-5 in overtime. And now with the Utah Mammoth, they're in the playoffs. They have a playoff berth, first time in history. This is huge news. But what have you seen out of Utah? What impresses you, and who do you think they're going to match up well against?
I did a game of theirs earlier in the season. Obviously, I've watched games. I mean, that's, our job is watching hockey, which could be a lot worse. So I've seen them play, and they really exceeded my expectations when I was at that Edmonton game. Structure, I guess in the way that they play, because before when I'd seen them, I thought they were really effective, but more of a lockdown. I knew they were fast players, and I knew they were young, but some of the games I've watched, they sort of just. They locked the neutral zone down and locked the defensive zone down. And watching them on Tuesday, that was such a fun game. It was wide open. And you'd think if you have a track meet style game, that favors Connor McDavid. I know that they're missing Leon Draisaitl and Zach Hyman, but sorry.
Those guys.
Oh yeah. Have you heard of them? Do you know who they are?
Yeah, no.
You seen them play?
No.
Yeah. And then there was this guy, Connor McDavid. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's not bad either. And he had, a end-to-end rush on the power play that just walked around everybody. So there was a little bit of everything. And then for, their captain, Clayton Keller, to win it in overtime. And he's now one of, I think there's 5 players that are on a 6-game point streak. So you've got their big guns scoring, right? You've got Dylan Gunther, who's almost at 40 goals. You've got, Logan Cooley. You've got Logan Cooley in that game. If people remember, he missed a breakaway and Evan Bouchard had bobbled a puck. He had a breakaway, and he was you could just see his frustration. And Torini, gave him sort of that bear hug behind him, and he
that was actually that was a remarkable TV moment. I'm like, you guys just knocked that out of the park because you showed the frustration, right? And him calming him down, and then all of a sudden he goes out and he pops one in, and that's TV magic. That's how you wrap a bow around something.
Well, and obviously, I mean, Logan helped us out by scoring after we showed that too. So then we could go back and keep hammering that, hammering the point home that we got it the first time. But I think that's showing a lot that you have that. And then, Vejmelka obviously has been excellent too. So, I know they've been healthier this year than maybe they were, but lately have had some injuries. So I don't know. I just like their energy. I like their speed. I like their youth. I like the leadership that they have. And when they scored that first goal, I know Edmonton came right back and scored I think less than a minute later, but the roof came off that place. It was so awesome. And that's when Mike Monaco and I looked at each other. We're like, this place is going to be unreal in the playoffs.
How about did you get a view of the beer chugging on the Jumbotron?
Oh, I didn't see out of the tusk, the tusk things, what are they called? The tusk mugs?
They drink out of anything in Utah. The first game of the year, I don't know if you saw this one, a girl took off her prosthetic leg and was chugging a beer out of her boot.
Oh, wow. I've not seen that. That's pretty good. All right.
That's something you would do at Lake Effect.
Yeah.
I've seen you in action.
Well, listen, I mean, you weren't there this time, so I had to go find my own somebody else to make fun of.
Yeah, well, that's not easy. Well, I'm glad you did your hair for the podcast today. I really appreciate it.
Well, no, this is left over from last night. I had a game last night. This is all, it is what it is.
And I
just
heard you
home.
I heard you're in first class. Like you were whining to me over text. You're like, I'm actually in seat 1A. Are you one of those people that looks at everyone as they walk by? Like people like me, you're like, get in the back, pigeon.
Oh, I hope that we're on a flight someday and you have to walk by me in first class sipping my champagne. Oh, that would be amazing. I would pretend to know you.
Weird. Your favorite F word, AJ. Free.
Yes, that is true. That is true. I will say that I'm the type, I'm very last minute. I'm always getting to the airport as late as I possibly can. And I want to be the last one. I don't want to sit around on the plane. Now, the other thing is I also never check bags. So I do have to get on, early enough at least so that got a little room above.
That is brilliant. That's one of the first questions I ask people when I travel with them. Like, you're not a bag checker, are you? If you're a bag checker, you're dead to me. Dead to me.
Nope. Yeah, can't do it. No quite. Yeah. But it is funny traveling with various people that we work with, right? Like Ray Ferraro has to be at the airport 19 hours early. I'm like, I don't.
What about Leaves? Steve Levy and all his hair product. I mean,
yeah, that's true. So that's actually a good point. He's not as early as Ray, but he's pretty. You got people that are just And right now, in everybody's defense, who wants to get there early, the airports are a little bit of a mess. So yeah. I give them that, but I definitely am coming in on two wheels. And there have been times I've been traveling with Bouchergrass, right, and he's already sitting in his seat, and I'm trying to get through security, his seat on the plane. So
and they just laugh their ass off at you.
Yeah, I'm like, oh well. I mean, there should be another flight going if I miss this one, right? I hope. Maybe.
Yeah. All right. Let's spin it all the way back. I'm fascinated again by your story, right? How you started. How'd you get into hockey, first of all? I mean, I know you're an athlete. You could have played anything you wanted. You did grow up in Boston, so I get the hockey, lane. But how did you get into it?
So I was born up in Massachusetts, out in Nantucket, as you mentioned. But I actually grew up in Connecticut. My dad was a school teacher down there in New Canaan, Connecticut. And we lived right next to an outdoor rink. And so my older sister and I, and then my younger brother followed suit. But we were about my summer birthday, so 2.5, we were thrown out in skates. And at that point, boys are put in hockey skates, girls are put in figure skates. So that's what I was given and played, played figure skating. Look at me. I obviously, it's been a while since I was a figure skater. And by the way, can you imagine me as a figure skater? Right, it's tough. I have pictures. I'll prove it to you. I do. I was wearing a little dress, my sister and I were, I learned how to do an axel before I eventually retired at the ripe age of 9. But when I was I don't really remember, but about 4 or 5, I kept begging my dad to play hockey because he coached the Bantam team and I wanted to play. And I didn't really understand that it was all boys playing. And so they let me the year that I turned 6. And so I went out and I played and my dad was excited. And I had a little brother, but he was 4 years younger than me, so he's little. And my dad goes into he doesn't want to buy, he's a school teacher. He's also cheap, right? He's like, I'm not going to buy you head to toe hockey gear because you might hate it. So he goes into Lost and Found and he outfits me with like all different sizes of everything, including a cup. And so I'm 6 years old. And so I go out and I come back and I loved it.
You put it over your mask. You're like trying to breathe into it. You're
like, I don't know what, I'm just standing there like, well, so I go out there. I loved it. And when I came off, I was like, Dad, this part doesn't work. I don't know. Everybody's like, Tom, I don't think she needs that part. You could probably leave that one at home. So that was one and done. I didn't have to wear that one again. Thank goodness. Or else this conversation probably wouldn't have been happening because I wouldn't have continued playing. But I played on a boys team throughout and played other sports too. I mean, that was back in the day that this was, it wasn't a year-round thing. It was an outdoor rink in Connecticut. Right. So, and then went away to boarding school as a sophomore. So that was the first time I played with girls, all girls. Had played through checking. And
that was more disciplinary, all girls school. I would
imagine. Sorry. It was not an all girls school. Played all girls hockey team. But no, it was not. I was not sent to a military school as much as you would like to believe.
I would have sent you there.
Yeah, I know you would have. No. It was just a normal run of the mill boarding school, co-ed, but all girls hockey team. And I got, by the way, speaking of discipline, can you imagine how many penalties I got? I mean, I'm 5'11" and I had only played checking hockey and suddenly I'm playing with girls. I was such a bully. Oh my God, I was such a bully. It was so bad.
You try to bully me.
Oh, please. That's like low-hanging fruit. That's too easy. I need a bigger challenge. I mean, look at you. You're standing up right now because I bet your pants are so tight you can't sit down because you'll split them. Right?
I got no pants on, actually. So
okay, keep the camera where it is. Whoever's managing this, keep it where it is.
Hey, we got to zoom in on that. But that was a big moment then for you, though, right? Like you changed the figure skates in for hockey skates, and now you're going into the locker room with the boys. I mean, what was that? That has to be so intimidating. Like I can't even put myself in that.
But think about it. I was 6. I didn't know. It's like you grow up with these boys, so they were like brothers to me. And it was funny because my name is actually Allison Jamie, and I went by Jamie. And then I, had a ponytail sticking out of my hair. And in 4th grade, I quit figure skating. Finally, I did figure skate for a while, which, by the way, I do think ultimately helped me be a better hockey player because of my edge work and figure skating and all the different stuff that we did. But I cut my hair really short, and I changed my name to AJ to sort of not have any question about, whether I just fit in. Nobody would know. And it's funny to me now because everybody knew anyway. Like, it's a small towns around. Everybody knows there's a girl on the team. But the boys that I played with, I was never intimidated by them, actually, ever, that I remember. As we got older, I would go get changed in the bathroom, but then go into the locker room, and they all changed in front of me. No one cared at all about that. But I think that they would give me a hard time, but if anybody on the other team gave me a hard time, they would defend me. Right. So it was like a perfect sibling type relationship. But one of the funniest, I remember being in 9th grade playing with them, and there was like a Friday night game, and all the girls in our class wanted to go and watch the game, and which was so weird to me. I'm like, oh, these boys smell so bad. Like, what are you talking about? Like, 'cause it's just like that was not on my radar with those particular boys. And we were in the locker room, and the door was cracked open, and I remember one of the players was like, oh my God, AJ, close the door. There are girls outside, and I'm changing. And then, I start closing the door, and I'm like, wait, what am I? And I just remember having this moment, and everybody started laughing, and they're like, you're not AJ. You're not a girl. You're just AJ. And I was like, I think that's a compliment, but I'm not sure my 14-year-old self knew how to process that. Right. So, it's just, there's so many. And by the way, that's not unique, right? My entire team from 98, even 02, played with boys growing up, right? So it was like when we all found each other, when I went to college, we started playing against each other. And through high school, I went to the U.S. National Development Camps out in St. Cloud, Minnesota. So you start to sort of realize that there are these other girls that are playing high level hockey, and there are not many of us then. But we, you start gravitating to each other, and so we all have the same stories. I mean, they're fun and they're funny, and I was really lucky. I played with a lot of really, really amazing guys that some I'm still friends with. But it is, now it's really nice. I've got 2 daughters and 2 sons, and one of my daughters is playing hockey at Boston College. She's a sophomore, and she played girls hockey all the way through, right? The fact that there's really good level of hockey to play now, how much the sport has grown. And there's still choices because there are girls that play co-ed too. So you have, it's choice.
Do you think that helped? Do you think that helped all you girls, part of that 98 team playing with boys? I mean, having to keep up. I mean, in some ways, I'm looking at your stats from Harvard, that one year in particular. I don't know what was going on. Are you joking? Like we'll get into that a little bit later, but it had to have helped you is what I'm trying to spit out here, playing with the boys.
It definitely, especially back then, because the girls, there was no girls option. So you either play with the boys or you don't play. But even as girls started to play, even as there got to be girls teams, they were a lower level, right? So you're playing at a little bit higher level, quicker, faster, especially when you get to puberty age, right? And so, I remember being in 9th grade. That's like the age where some boys are shaving and some boys look like they're 9, right? So you've got the puck and you don't know which one might try to hit you. And that's where my figure skating came in, by the way. I rarely got hit because I could evade most of the checks and see them coming. But I think that it is where I think it actually helped our team as a whole was we played checking hockey, so we played with our heads up, right? So even later on, when you look at the 06 team, the 10 team, and the 14 team, now these women are starting, a lot of them did play with boys, but once they got to checking, they went to girls, right? So they played boys through Pee Wee and then would split off and go to a high-level girls team, a select or elite girls team. But you could see it sometimes. They'd come through the neutral zone with their heads down, looking back like this. And I remember watching sometimes being like, these women are faster, stronger. I mean, everything about them is better than I was when I played. I mean, the game evolved so much. But I'm like cringing. I'm like, they're going to get their ass kicked. And then I'm like, oh, well, no, it's not checking. But it's still, I think, playing with that awareness that you might at any time get your block knocked off, I think makes you a better player.
Yeah, absolutely. So you go to Harvard, and I had to look twice. I thought AI was messing with me because I was like, "There's no way she went to Harvard." Not a
By the way,
chance.
when we text, I just said I literally have to bite my tongue and not edit your texts and the grammar, the spelling. I mean, listen, I'll take all the grief about being like, oh, she went to Harvard, but come on, Tyson.
Hey, thank God I talk for a living. That's what I tell my kids. I'm like, I know I butchered everything about that, but I talk for a living, for God's sake.
Get paid per word, right? There you go.
Yeah, no, that was my old partner, Matt McConnell. But talk to us about Harvard. Is that and when did you know, you're going, hey man, I'm good. I can do this. I can play in the Olympics. What were your next goals, or were there after college? I mean, now it's different, right? And I mean, these girls can go play pro. That has to make you so happy because you were a trailblazer in all of this for women's hockey, but also kind of maybe piss you off that oh my God, I could have done that and this, and I kind of paved the way for all these girls. So,
it doesn't actually piss me off at all because it's so exciting. And I have kids, right? So I can see this and see the growth and the development and the opportunities, and being a small part of it is, and for me, having played 2 Olympics, the college that you're talking about, and then broadcast every Olympics since, right? So I played in 98 and 02, and I've been in the broadcast booth from 2006 on. So I've literally have a front row seat to watch women's hockey just erupt on the scene, right? And just watch every year how much better it gets, how many more players they are, and how they push each other, and how much, again, bigger, faster, stronger, the technology, the training, the nutrition, all these things that we didn't have. Even we laughed when we saw their team picture from Milan, and the staff was our staff was 4. And I don't think I'm exaggerating. We had 2 coaches, we had a trainer, and we had an equipment manager. We did have a PR person. So we had 5 people, and they had 19. It was something, you look at there, and that's not woe is us. That's how great is that? They deserve that, right? I mean, we deserved it too, but it was a different era, and there's no sour grapes about that at all, ever. So I think for me, the biggest difference too is that you think now these college, the recruiting process, people committing, the scholarships, all those things. I applied to college, and I was recruited, but it wasn't I didn't commit, and I decided. I got my acceptance letters, and I was down to 2 schools, and I took a couple weeks, and I went back to visit them again, and then I chose Harvard. So it wasn't like I decided my junior year, right? I knew that I wanted to go there, and I knew that hockey was. I only looked at schools with hockey. I remember I was a junior, I think, in high school when they announced that women's hockey would be in the Olympics. So that's when I did immediately. That became my goal. I didn't think that I was going to make the first. I shouldn't say that. I would have loved to have made the first team, but it wasn't I have to make the 98 team because I was young. But I remember thinking that was when sort of that was a moment in time for me. I remember where I was thinking that's what I wanted to do. And then, going to college sort of becomes that. And the schools that ultimately, and it's funny now when I think back to it. So the schools I was choosing between were Harvard and Princeton. At the time, Princeton was much better in hockey than Harvard was. My sister was at Harvard. She was 2 years ahead of me and played hockey there too. And there was the whole broken leg rule, right? Like, where are you going to go that you're going to be happier? And I went through the recruiting visits. I did the whole thing, and I really liked Harvard better. And there were a lot of people that said, you're choosing it for a school, not for hockey. Like, somebody actually said to me, you can kiss your hockey career goodbye if you're going there, because they were not very strong at the time. And then obviously, my college career, as my family likes to remind me, spanned 6 years. I didn't go for all 6 years, but I did take 2 years off to compete for the Olympic team. So I was a little bit delayed. As my brother said, he's like, you and I both took 6 years. I was like, yeah, listen, buddy. I don't. He had a little bit of a different issue why he took a little time to get through. And so, but then when I went back, we won the national title. So again, 6 years between start and finish, and we went from being not very strong to winning it all. And so that was a really fun thing, and something I was very proud of, to leave, go get better, learn, play at this high level, and then come back to Harvard and bring that in. I had to do a lot. I had to jump through a lot of hoops to save my NCAA eligibility, which is ironic because it wasn't the NCAA's, by the way. They didn't sponsor women's hockey till 2001, so it was called the AWCHA, whatever. But I still couldn't take any money. There was stipends. There was reward money for winning a gold medal. For me, I had no money, and it was thousands of dollars that I left on the table. And, I don't regret it because it was what I wanted to do. But I just remember thinking the first couple of games, I'm like, oh man, if I blow out my ACL right now, that's really going to suck.
So that 98 year though, I'm looking at your numbers. You played 34 games. You scored 37 goals, 77 assists for 114 points. Is that real? That's like minor hockey. That's like Wayne Gretzky numbers when he was a kid. That's college hockey, D1 hockey. Yeah,
we had a great team. We really did. When I went there, we didn't. And I played when I went, the two freshmen on the team were Angela Ruggiero, who came in with my team in the Olympics. She's in the Hockey Hall of Fame, 4-time Olympian. She was a freshman. Jen Botterill was my line mate. She's a 4-time Olympian, also Hockey Hall of Famer. Freshman, came in from the Olympics from the Canadian team. She and I played really well together. We definitely set each other up left and right. So it was amazing to have people like that. And, when you can put the puck in space and they score and you get a point for it, that works out pretty well. But it's interesting too, because you talk about, when I broadcast, people, if they listen, maybe it's confusing because we always talk about me being a defenseman or defender. That's what I was in Salt Lake, but I was a center forever. And I was a center in Nagano, and I was a center at Harvard. I played defense for the power play and a penalty kill, but center. And then after I graduated, my coach, Ben Smith, decided to move me back to defense. And it was actually crazy. I moved back to D, and I was like, oh my God, I'm a defenseman. All this time I've been playing forward, and I am it was so much better for me. It just felt like home. But I had been a face-off person in 98. I took all the face-offs, and not all the face-offs, but I took a lot of the face-offs. So it was just, it's an interesting evolution. People follow women's hockey. Layla Edwards made that shift. And there was I talked to Layla a lot about it. She's like, I didn't know you did that. She's like, the gap control's really hard. I was like, oh yeah. We did drills ad nauseum. The forwards were like, AJ, can you get your gap? I'm so sick of these drills. I'm like, I'm trying. It's really hard at this speed. You guys are coming at me really fast.
I always said if I could do hockey again, I'd be a defenseman. It's so fun, watching the whole ice, jumping in, jumping out, attacking, getting back, except being in front of the net when there's, ripping the puck.
Yeah, the blocking shots. But I agree with you, having it all in front of you, right? That's what I always say. And that's why I was talking with Wyatt Johnston the other night, because I did the Dallas game, and talking about how good he is in the bumper. Because my coach tried to put me in the bumper at one point, and I was like, the game is coming at me from 360 degrees. I like to have it sort of 180 plane, all right in front of me. I can see. And by the way, my vision is one of my strengths, so having it there was helpful. But he's so good in that spot, it is, I agree with you. There's something nice about it. But it definitely took me a little bit to get there. And again, I go back to my size. I was built to play D.
So we've been talking a lot about regular season hockey and playoff hockey, right? And when I look at your career and what you've done, which is remarkable. First of all, what kind of player were you? And you had to have been a chirper and one of the best. I know you were elite because I got to hear it. My ear is bleeding every time I leave from talking to you, but you must have been relentless.
You know what? I wish I was. I think I've gotten to be a better chirper now. When I don't know. I wasn't as I wasn't as, I mean, I would say I was definitely a talker for sure. I was a talker, and mostly like talking. Even some like new, rookie goalies would come on Team USA and they would be like, "Oh my God, they liked it," because obviously if you have a defenseman that's talking to you and telling you where they are or whatever. But some of the younger players would be like, it felt like I was ordering them around. I'm like, "Oh no, I'm talking to myself. I'm ordering myself around. I'm just like, it all is verbal to me. I'm just like talking and whatever." So we had a couple people that were a little wittier with their chirps. But yeah,
do the women do that too?
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you guys just rip on each other?
Yeah, and I would argue that it's you would be surprised actually that it's
worse.
Yeah, I think and maybe it's worse because it would surprise you. Do you know what I mean? Like you expect it from men. And of course, I mean, obviously women are smarter, Tyson. So the chirps are wittier and smarter. So, I mean, there's a subtlety. It's an art.
Your
there's
nose
art
is
to
going to
it.
grow. Your nose is going to end up like mine if you're not careful.
Oh, is that how your nose got like that?
Yeah, it's
Fat
not an
liar?
elbow. It's not an elbow on my face, AJ. I know you wondered about that.
No, but I think that the interesting thing that you're talking about playoffs versus regular season, and I loved any sort of playoff hockey, right? Like and when I played for Team USA, everything was playoff hockey. That's what we loved about it, right? Anytime we played Canada, no matter what, it was a tournament situation, or it was, it mattered, and it was always gritty. It was always physical. I mean, really, really physical. Now you look at the PWHL and how amazing it is, and it's they're incorporating checking, sort of a hybrid checking, and I think it's about time. I would have loved it when I played if we had that more physical game. But I do think that it's good maybe that they waited a little bit, but it's time. I mean, these athletes are incredible. They're strong, they're big, they're fast. And, yeah, I mean, I think that's why it's fun. Like I haven't been down between the benches now lately with the women. Like at the Olympics, I was up in the booth with Kenny, but I do think that there's some good chirps. Now that they all play together too, I bet the chirps they might be even more personal.
Oh, lethal. What was your favorite? Can you give us one of your favorite that you've heard?
My favorite probably isn't appropriate for this. Even for this, I don't think it's appropriate.
Even for the NASHCAST, eh?
Even for the NASHCAST, yeah. I don't know. It's also, I'd have to check with the person who said it, with my teammate who said it, because like Colleen Coyne was a very good chirper on our team. Laurie
Really?
Baker, very good chirper. But Bakers were like, they were. She didn't say anything, right? And then suddenly she would just come through with one that was just a zinger. It was awesome. Yeah, I actually one of my recent favorite ones, I'm going to give my son props because it was this year. He's an 18-year-old goalie, and he had a good season. He had a good game against a team that was much better than them, and they were taunting him by name, like calling him out by name, that they were, whatever. And he looked at him after, like in the third period, and he looked at him and goes, "I don't know your name." I was like, "That's pretty good, actually. Pretty good." And the guy just sort of skated away from him, and I was like, "It's good because it's not like." It's not going to get you in trouble with the school. It's not going to get you, it's not dirty. It's just, you're just like making the guy feel dumb. So those are the ones that I like that aren't necessarily unrepeatable. They're just they're a subtle dig that is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was your, like, give me your, you had to have been, what was your go-to chirp? What'd you say?
Oh man, I got ripped all the time. The worst one that I got was Jason Strudwick. And he asked me, he goes, "Hey Nasher," he goes, "What would you rather have, $1 million or a nose full of nickels?" And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, and everybody on his team heard it. So like, all I could do was laugh. I couldn't even rip him back. I think I tried to make fun of his toupee or, his hair.
But you know what? I also
whatever,
think when you get chirped, it is better to laugh anyway. I mean,
Right.
you laugh with them. You can't, it's
it's
creative.
It was so
give them
good.
props.
It was so good. I couldn't even argue it. And it's almost true. I probably would have asked Larry Plow, one of my GMs, for that
But I would say that the chirping now, like I would get chirped for being like, big and, big and dumb and whatever. It is what it is. But I think the chirps now in the broadcasting booth, like we didn't have social media when I played, right? I can't imagine because now I go, like, if I just want to, feel like my ego's getting out of control, just visit Twitter and I'll be like, "Oh, that's right. Okay, there we go." That's all I needed. Just put me back in my place.
Oh, I know. So tell me about your family. You got 4 kids. You got 2 girls, 2 boys. Like they must be. First of all, you're pretty busy in the off season because I know how much you travel. 4 kids. That's getting busy. But
yeah, well,
God, they must be so proud of you. Like all of it, everything you're accomplishing.
Do you want me to bring my son over here and we can? Yeah.
Is that the one you threatened? Is that the one you threatened to be quiet
Yes.
on the podcast?
Yeah, and he heard the dogs barking, by the way, and he took him down to the basement right now. He gave me a look like. So I guess he is a little scared of me. That's good. That's good. I still got that going. He's my youngest. So first of all, I do travel a lot, and so props to my husband because he's travels too, but he's around dealing with a ton of stuff too. Because my schedule, even though it's erratic, I know it ahead of time, but it's also it's set in stone sort of until you come to the playoffs, and then there's no stone. It's right. They call you the day before, and they're like, "Hey, can you get to Winnipeg?" And you got to take 3 stops to get there. My oldest is 22. She's a senior in college up in Bowdoin, college up in Maine called Bowdoin. And then my daughter is a almost 20-year-old sophomore at Boston College. And then my son is an 18-year-old senior in high school. He's actually going to go to St. Lawrence to play lacrosse next year. Wow. And then my little guy's, the one who's scared of me right now, is 14 in 8th grade, going into high school next year. So all of them are hockey and lacrosse players, various levels, doing different things. So again, one of my sons is a goalie in hockey. The other son's a goalie in lacrosse. So somewhere along the lines, I pissed off the youth sports gods because, a goalie mom is one thing, but a goalie mom, 2 sports, 2 kids, it's a lot. It's a lot.
That means no fingernails and probably lots of cocktails in the stands. That's a goalie mom for you.
I know everybody always talks about dry January. I'm like, no, that's not the month I'm putting away no, can't do that. But it is interesting, the different sports too, for any lacrosse players out there, right? Like if you're a lacrosse goalie and you have a 50% save percentage, you might have had the game of your life. You're going to be a Hall of Famer, right? But in hockey, obviously, you've got to be a lot higher. So it's sort of as a goalie mom, I can't even figure out which is worse, because in hockey, you're supposed to make the save, but you're also very well protected. In lacrosse, you're not really, like, advantage shooter, but you also don't wear anything, right? You wear, like, a chest protector and a cup and a helmet. That's pretty much it. So it is definitely it's interesting. I'll tell you that. There's something wrong with them, though. Tweaked.
The goalies, there's always something wrong with a goalie.
That's
Anyone
right.
who wants to stand in front of 100, and I played lacrosse too. That's almost worse, right?
Know,
That
right?
hard rubber ball, or you in the toes. You get it in the toes. You're
Especially
not
here in,
walking
I feel like, but like it shouldn't be played north of the Mason-Dixon line. Like it's cold here right now. You take a shot off the toes in a 38-degree day. Ooh.
Oh, they play outside?
Yes.
Oh, jeez, that's nuts. That's
We're a little
absolutely
we're a little tougher in New England, Tyson.
in Boston, yeah. So tell me about, and I'll never forget it. I think I know what game it was, but like you've done so many firsts, right? Again, trailblazer for women in hockey, women playing hockey, all the things, right? There's nothing that women can't do because of people like you and broadcasting. You took a leap of faith. You were the first woman to ever broadcast a National Hockey League game and a playoff game as well. What was that like, knowing that everyone was watching and everyone you just know was judging? Because I know I was.
Well, first, I'm not going to ask for my grade or the judgment, how it came about, but I will say that this is very off-putting because I don't know how long we've been doing this, but you have given me more compliments than you've ever given me.
I know.
It's like very uncomfortable for me. I don't even know how to take compliments from you, so excuse me while I try to find my balance. But it is interesting because I stumbled into broadcasting, right? It wasn't something that I had my sights set on. I told you, I played in 2002. I was going to go to the Worlds in 2003, and they were canceled because of the SARS epidemic. And then I decided we started a family. So it was this whole thing. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. And I won't go into it, but I got a call from NBC saying, would you want to broadcast the Olympics in Torino? Or do you have any interest in broadcasting? I said, yes. I have no idea what prompted me to say that. That's actually sort of that's not something that I would usually say or do. But I said yes. So I went down for an audition, which it's a whole other long story I don't think we have time for. But my audition was with Doc Emmerich, calling the gold medal game from Salt Lake, which we lost. I was like, none of this is such a weird out-of-body experience. So I'd gone through all that, but it was women's hockey. And I'd covered women's hockey in Torino and Vancouver and Sochi. And then when I NBC gave me the shot to make the transition over to doing some men's hockey in the Olympics, and then men's college hockey, and then the NHL. So I do think that I'd been broadcasting, but obviously doing women doing men's hockey was different. It shouldn't be because the game's the same, and you and I both know that, but it is different because of the viewers, right? And we are just not accustomed, at that time especially, we're talking 10 years ago, are not used to hearing sports come out of a woman's mouth unless it's a reporter or a host or something, right? So, and there were so many people that did say, back to social media, what you're saying is good, I'm just not used to hearing women talk about sports. And like, I'm not chauvinistic, but so it's like moving the needle, right? And so I may have been the first for some of this stuff, but the big thing to me is to make sure that I'm not the last. And there are so many incredible women out there that are better than me, that will be better than me. And I'm very happy to open the door, but I don't want it to just stay a little cracked open, right? I want it to get open. I want people that are good, men, women, whatever gender, have the opportunity to do this. So for me, I did feel that pressure, and I felt that pressure because of the future, right? I didn't feel the pressure for me and my ego. I mean, obviously you have to have a little bit of an ego to do this job, and you have to understand that. But I do think that for me, it was sort of like knowing people are watching this and knowing that people are, it was a really quick lesson in, I'm not going to make everybody happy. There are a lot of people out there that are just not going to like what I have to say and not like that I'm on this game still to this day. But
how do you deal with that though? Because social media was, I can't imagine like the backlash that you got from some of those donkeys, right? The keyboard warriors.
And
really?
I don't even, I think now it took me a while to develop the thick skin. I told everybody I didn't care, but I did initially.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right. And you start, and
I cry myself to sleep some nights. I'm like, oh.
I remember there was one series I did. It was Nashville, Winnipeg. And I was flying home from Winnipeg. The series was over. And right before I got on the plane, there was somebody on Twitter that said, made this document that was like the top 10 dumbest things AJ Mleczko said in the broadcast last night. And I was like, I only said 10 dumb things? That's amazing. That's
like, hallelujah.
Amazing. Yeah. No. My first reaction was like, oh my God, I don't want to look at this. So like I shut my phone down and I got on the plane and I was like, I'm not going to get Wi-Fi. And back then it was, it was like, the whole time I'm like, I want to know. But I'm like, no, I don't want to know. Oh, I want to know. And then when I landed, like I immediately looked at it because I was like, now I'm driving myself crazy. And I was like, it said, it was like, oh, look at that guy's stick position on the penalty kill. And I'm like, wait, that actually might have been one of the only smart things I said. I said a lot of dumb things. That one shouldn't have made the list. So it was one of those things where I just I had to go through and realize that people are going to say this stuff. And then when you realize that people are saying crappy stuff about you or Kenny Albert or whoever I'm working with, Mike Monaco, Bob Wischusen, and all these people that are Doc Emmerich, these guys, these people that are so good at their jobs. We can't do this job if we're going to be beholden to the keyboard warriors out there, the haters. But at the same time, it does, it doesn't, it's not like I'm like, oh great, another person hates me. It doesn't feel great.
You got to laugh at yourself, right? You really do. You can't take it personal. I mean, people are, it's amazing to me that they actually take the time that they take. I'm like, if you actually did something more and better with your time, you might be successful yourself. But no, just keep throwing darts at us on the broadcast.
But you're right, to take the time to go and log on to Twitter or wherever and type it out, and you're like, oh, and that's where it almost gets to the point where like, oh, maybe I'm sort of sad for this person. Like this person has so much negativity that's what, and the people that like you aren't going to spend, I don't think, will spend that, that's at least what I tell myself. People that like me aren't going to spend the time typing it out. So there are a lot more people out there that like me, which I don't think is true. So it is, I think being the first, being a woman, I got a lot of, she's got a face for radio, get her off my TV, stuff like that. That's a good one.
That's actually a good one.
It's a good one, right? I know. I get that one a lot. Too much, actually. Maybe I need a little. I've got to get a raise for my hair and makeup people. It's stuff like that is like, go call women's hockey, and now I can. Right, there is women's hockey, but back when I started, there wasn't women's hockey on TV. I would love to call more women's hockey. It's a great sport. Whoever's playing.
So who, in your mind, I just got a couple more for you. Thank you for your time once again. But who had the biggest influence on you? I know I played with Pascal Rayom. Was like Manon Rayom, like, was that someone you looked up to? Was there someone that kind of paved the way for you that was like, I'm going to do that?
I played against her, and she wore the wrong color jersey, so I'm not, not giving men all that. I do love her, and I've seen her a lot recently. Not a lot, but I've seen her recently, and I have a very good, tons of respect for her. But she was on the Canadian team that I disliked strongly, so I would not say
even back then, before it actually. Really?
She was on the 98 team.
Canada?
She was on the 98 team.
Yeah.
So
the hate is real. The hate is real. You just hate Canada.
I don't hate Canada. I hate the Canadian women's hockey team. So, by the way, Cassie Campbell Pascal has become one of my closest friends. So we hated each other, though, because she was started as defenseman and became a forward at the same time that I started as a forward, became a defenseman. So we were always like this, right? And we will laugh so hard about it now. We would always stay in the same hotels because it was the IHF paying for everything. We wouldn't ride the elevators with each other. And I'm not kidding you. If the elevator opened up and a bunch of Canadians were there, get in the next one. I'm not riding with those donkeys. I'm not doing it. And so we did. There was a real hate. Now that hate drove the sport to incredible levels because we hated losing to them more than we hated them. And now it's different. They have that same rivalry, but it's like they all play together, so it's more collaboration, and obviously it's still heated. There's no question about it. But yeah, no, I think my biggest influence, my dad was, my first coach, and he has always been, even now he calls me in the morning after games when I'm traveling home and watches and talks about stuff like that. So he was a huge influence. I think that it's a little cliche to say this, but my teammates, honestly, the bond that we had and the fight that we had together, and the fact that the people sitting on either side of me were my best friends, but also I was competing against them for a spot on the team. Right. It's this, it's like this really interesting battle where, we had 25 of us traveling and training together for 6 months leading up to the Olympics, and 5 people got cut. So those were, my teammates, and we went to battle together, and now they're not with us. So But then you're like sad, and then you're relieved and happy and elated, and there's all these crazy emotions when that happens because you want to be on the team and you fought for that position. So I think overall that those people that pushed me every day, motivated me every day, that's probably the people that I would say have the biggest influence on my hockey life.
So Canada, US, bring us to it. We'll give it to you this year. Every 46 years, I can't watch The Miracle one more time. Not a great movie, unbelievable story, more than a hockey game, but I cannot watch it one more time. Give us a sequel. The men
it hasn't been 46 years. It's only been 8 years since the U.S. won a gold because the women won it in Pyeongchang, right? You do, and the sled team.
I know that, but you guys don't have a movie out there yet. Where's your movie? Where's the women's movie?
Just reminding you that there's a whole women's game out there, Tyson.
I watched it. And I'm telling you, I've been in the U.S. so long. I am American. I consider myself American.
Oh, I hope you have an American flag tattooed on your ass.
I do. No, my lower back, just the lower back, just above the crack. But yeah, absolutely. I am USA all the way. And when you guys won, I was so pumped. And then I just knew. I knew it was going to happen in that men's game as much as Canada dominated that game. And they did. There's no arguing that. But I knew it was in the cards, right? And Jack Hughes and all the things. It was the best storyline you could ever possibly have.
These Olympics were so fun. I was there, obviously, in Milan. And so the women's game was incredible. And I had my husband and 2 of my kids, the bookends, because my 2 of them were playing hockey, so they couldn't go. But I had my oldest, my youngest there. So they were at the women's game watching them win this. And the U.S. was so much better than Canada on the women's side this year, right? 5-0 in the preliminary round. And then Canada did everything right. They did everything they were supposed to do in the gold medal game, right? The U.S. women didn't necessarily play their best, in my opinion, but it goes to overtime. It's just sort of the way it should happen. And Megan Keller has this incredible goal. And then we had a chance to go and celebrate with the team afterwards. So my kids are all in there trying on the medals and doing all this stuff. I think it's so cool. And I'm like, you don't have one of those in our house. And nope, mom's not cool at all. It literally is they were like, Mom, this is so cool. They're Olympic gold medalists. I'm like, okay, I see the way this is going. We were then supposed to leave on Sunday, actually. And because there was a snowmageddon here in the Northeast, we ended up staying for 3 or getting stuck. So we went to the men's game. And we weren't supposed to be there. And same thing afterwards. We got my 14-year-old son has pictures with half the team wearing the medal, everything. So watching that game, I will say I felt the same way. There was this feeling that I just, when McKinnon misses that thing and Hellebuck's just playing out of his mind and all these sort of things that are going, it feels like it's meant to be. But you do, you hear McKinnon's comments afterwards where he's like, you make you judge who is the better team. He's not wrong, but at the end of the day, who scored more goals, right? So it is what it is. I think the U.S. the celebration was incredible. It was just and then the sled hockey team went and made it a triple gold. So it really was incredible for the red, white, and blue this year in Milan.
I got to ask you, obviously you played against everyone for the longest time. Enemies, teammates that you love to play with, but Cassie Campbell, what does that name mean to you?
Well, she's a teammate now. She was an enemy for a long time, but she's a teammate at ESPN now, and I love her. She has been such a good ally. Somebody we really like. She's done incredible things in the booth. You know, we talked about me being one of the first women in the booth. She's a trailblazer, absolutely, in terms of everything that she's accomplished. So a story with her though, when she played for 3 Olympics. So she played 98, 02, and 06. And I didn't play in 06. I was broadcasting. But then in 2010 in Vancouver, we were both working. I was with NBC and she was with the Canadian, you're Canadian, whatever. I don't know if it was CBC. It's had to have been CBC, right? I don't even know. Roger, Sportsnet, whoever it was at the time. And we were on the same, and we were on the same level. But we shared a commissary, right? So not always, but at the beginning I didn't realize it. So I remember sitting there with my NBC people and she walked in. And one of my colleagues still made the joke for the longest time that I guess I got this look over my face. I was like, what is she doing here? Like, what? And, she sits down at like the table next to us and I'm looking and she's sort of looking at me and I'm like, what? This I can't have dinner right now. This is crazy. And I honestly didn't realize how ridiculous I sounded. Now I do. I've grown up. Hard to believe, but I have. And through that Olympics, actually, through those 3 weeks we were there, we actually became tentative friends. And we made a bet in that Olympics, $20 on the gold medal game. And I did send her $20 Canadian after the U.S. won that game and sent it in the mail. But so we would always have these bets going back and forth. So then we sort of developed this friendship even before we worked at ESPN together. And now we're very, very close. Like we text and talk all the time. So I think she was a phenomenal player on that team and she was captain and she's an incredible leader. I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about her, but you're catching me, 20 years after I disliked her.
I can't imagine a year after that. I love the hatred and the passion. All right, now let's flip it. Hillary Knight. What does that name mean?
Not a USA teammate. Shocking, I know, but she's a little bit younger than me. We didn't play together. But I worked with her a little bit at ESPN. I actually worked her first game I was in the booth. I was with Steve Levy and she was between the benches. We were in Tampa. So she had done some studio stuff and then I did some Frozen Forest stuff with her. So, I mean, I've known her for a long time, just while she's been training and covering her and, different things. But working with her, it was interesting to see her. She knows what she's doing, obviously. But to see her, she's got this incredible way about her and bravado and this swagger. And then working the TV stuff at the beginning, you could see she was like a little bit out of her element. And it was really interesting to see her sort of like lock in, figure it out. She's such a determined athlete, but it translates to everything. And then, this last Olympics, how epic was that? Like just what she was able to do, set records, but then score with a minute and a half left and tie the game up as the captain, just put that team on her back and drag them in. So she's an incredible person off the ice. A little bit more of an introvert than people think she is in terms of she's so great with people and she's such an incredible leader, but she's very sort of protective of herself in some ways. And I have so much respect for her, obviously on the ice, but off the ice, she was a great teammate at ESPN too. So I don't have any like roasting stories about her because she's a good egg.
The engagement, how she could do that and focus on still playing. I was like, what is going on here?
And by the way, she proposed over a grate. Did you see that?
Yeah. I'm like, how's the knees?
Also, like, how are your hands? You better trust your hands. Don't drop that thing. I mean, she does have good hands.
You'd be in trouble.
Yeah, I was going to say, she has better hands than me. Butterfingers. But that was crazy. The day before, but Britt, her fiance, is awesome too. I've spent some time with her. She's amazing. So that was a great story. And it's sort of a surprise human interest story at that moment. I did ask her, I said, why now? Like, you've got something going on. And she's like, well, we're hoping we're going to be, she was sort of like, you hope we're going to either be celebrating or we're going to be sad. Win or lose, right? So if you're sad, you don't want to propose. And if you're celebrating, you're busy with, she obviously had a ton of stuff. So she wanted to get it done while both their families were there. It was pretty awesome.
All right. Give us Haley Wickenheiser.
Oh, man. Well, talk about, I haven't had a chance to be her teammate. So now, yeah. You know what I will say? This is going to be the nicest thing I can say about Haley Wickenheiser. Is that I realized that I had figured it out or made it to be a defenseman when I stopped her on a one-on-one because she was that good. So when I could stop her or stay with her, then I was like, oh, okay. She was the most intimidating, right? I mean, she was so big. She was so strong. She had such a hard shot and she was a menace out there, right? I mean, she was just like intensity, so then when she would bear down on you, so then the few times that I was able, I was like, oh, okay. Like it gave me confidence that the coach made the right call making me a defenseman when I could do that. But she was I shouldn't say that's the nicest thing I can say about her, because honestly, like what she's done for the sport, what she did for Hockey Canada, what she's continuing to do in the world of hockey is tremendous. And then, a summer athlete too in softball, Olympic athlete. So she's an incredible athlete, a great ambassador. She was just always she was so intense and so reserved, and I never really had any crossover with her outside of the arena. So to me, she's all Maple Leaf to me, Tyson.
Yeah. Oh, I'm with you. I have the same names. I have the same, opinions of all those players. How about Cami Granato? Give us a Cami Granato story.
Oh man. Oh, okay. Wait, this is, I gotta check myself. So Cam and I were road roommates for a long time. And she and we actually had a podcast together. Shocking. We never got you on as a guest. Maybe on purpose.
Yeah, thanks.
We had a great podcast.
Someone canceled. That's the only reason you got a spot on today.
Exactly. I know. I got a call about 20 minutes ago. Hey, can you fill in? Sure. Here I am. Anyway, so Cam and I had a podcast, but when she got the AGM job in Vancouver, they made her give it up. So I actually really miss it, because she's living obviously in Vancouver with Ray, who's an ESPN teammate of mine. So
my old roommate, Chicken Parm.
No way. I didn't know you guys. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. We could probably, Ray and I, he cracks up that we were road roommates. He's like, how did anything get done? It was like, well, we did miss the bus a couple times, and we got benched like very publicly at one point because we were late for the bus, because I thought she set the alarm. She thought I set the alarm. I mean, we were like train wrecks. So that when Cami and I were rooming together, we were in Winnipeg, had just played Canada, and we were flying the next day early to New York, and we had a bunch of press stuff there, but we were playing a team of celebrities. It was the most random thing. But Cami and I, we had a 4 a.m. bus to get to, and of course we fly commercial. We fly in the back of the plane. Like, don't give me all this grief about flying first class. Like we flew like, we were like bumping the plane belly the whole way there. And we were supposed to meet at 4 a.m. And I thought, no alarm went off. So Karin Bai knocks on our door at 4:04. And we're like, oh my God. Literally, we just tore out of there, didn't brush our teeth, didn't, just like, I'm sure, I think we're wearing our pajamas. We get on the bus, and we're on the bus at 4:07. Like, that's how quickly we wrapped everything up and got on the bus. And he had to scratch 2 players at that point. So we had the 5 extra players, 3 had been cut, so we still had 2 extra players. So he very publicly put Cami and I in these gold jerseys when we practiced at Chelsea Piers in New York, which he didn't usually put the scratches in these colors. So we're wearing these like obnoxiously bright jerseys. And so we're like, oh man. And Mike Richter was there, who we knew a little bit, but Veronica was there. And so his wife, Veronica, so they come in and speak and talk to us. And the whole thing, Cam and I are just looking like we've got our like tails between our legs. We're not going to play. And so we go to the game that night, and it's a bunch of like, Tim Robbins is playing. And it's like random people, right? It's more of a showcase. It's like, for press. So we're sitting in the warm room watching with Susan Sarandon, because they were married or together or whatever. So we're sitting there chatting, and I was like, this is actually sort of cool. Like, I'm meeting Susan Sarandon. Okay. Like, I'm feeling like a little bit silver lining-ish. So fast forward, that was in December. Fast forward to Nagano. We win the gold. We come back. Cammie's doing the whole talk show circuit, right? And the rest of us go to Hawaii, because on the way back from Japan, we stop in Hawaii. Pretty awesome. Cami has to go home and do Letterman and all this stuff. She's on David Letterman, and with Susan Sarandon. Susan Sarandon's on first, and he said, you saw the women won. And she said, yeah, I got to meet them. It was so great. Tim played against them. She said, I got to meet Cami Granato and some other girl. And it was so amazing. I mean, the team was so great. And I was with my team, and while we were watching, I'm about to have my moment on Letterman. She's going to say my name. This is so great. I'm like, some other girl. I'm like, oh, claim to fame. I'm some other girl. I got it.
That is so good. Couldn't happen to a better person.
That's right. Well, it was good. It was funny. But Susan Sarandon knows me as some other girl. So that was the best part about Cam, is that she was just like, and the two of us, like, I can make fun of her because I was no better. I wasn't helping her out at all. And then, she's still just this, what she's been able to do, what she's continued to do with her. I saw her recently. The Women's Frozen Four was in Penn State, and her and Ray's son is playing soccer there as a freshman. So she was there visiting. We got to catch up, which is nice, because I see Ray more than I see her. which is great because I love Ray too. But it would be awesome to see Cam. So yeah, I'm trying to think if I have any stories that are appropriate for this platform, and maybe I'll have to circle back to that.
Yeah. All right. Last one. How about KK Harvey?
Oh man, how about, was it Matthew or Brady Kachuk that called her? I think it was Matthew, said that she reminded him of Bobby Orr. I mean, talk about high praise. We told her that, she was like, what? Like, she was so blown away by that. KK Harvey is honestly revolutionizing women's hockey, the way she's playing and the way she played at Wisconsin for 4 seasons and the way that she's playing for Team USA. It's interesting when you watch her, for me, at the beginning of the tournament, because she's so dynamic and she's so good on her skates and she's so smart with her passes, but they weren't tested. And I kept thinking to myself, ooh, it's going to be interesting when they're tested, because does she defend, right? You have these, sometimes when you look out there and you see Quinn Hughes or you see Kel McCarr, you see these guys that are so good offensively, and those are good examples of what I'm talking about, because then they're challenged and you're like, oh, well, shoot, they're actually really good defenders too, right? They don't give anything up because they're such incredible skaters. And I can say the same about KK, that she's so good on her edges and her gap control and her confidence that she shuts every play down in the neutral zone. And then, I mean, they didn't play in their D zone very much at all, partly because of the way that she was able to control the play. So, and she's just such a good kid too. I mean, out of Salem, New Hampshire, her parents are the best. She's just, she's got this very sort of, I don't know if innocent's the right word, but just this happy, everything about her is just, she's happy to be there. She's obviously a competitor on the ice, but, she's really fun to watch. I'm going to be curious. So she's got to go number 1 in the draft, I assume. But you also have Abby Murphy, and you've got Layla Edwards. You've got some of these other incredible athletes coming into the draft. But to me, KK Harvey is just that all-around player.
I love the fact that we're even talking about a draft. Like that's the coolest thing ever. Like all those young girls out there. My daughter played. Both my daughters played, right? And I'm just like, what an opportunity that is for these young girls, because you want to be on TV. You want to play at the National Hockey League level for women, right? And they deserve it. The hockey's amazing. Like these girls are so good. All right, last one for me, AJ. All the women out there, the young girls playing hockey nowadays. What's I know you speak all over your country, my country now too. But your advice to young girls in hockey.
Advice for young girls playing hockey. And actually this would go for young kids, and side note, when we were playing, everyone said, bring your daughters, we're great role models. I'm like, bring your sons too, because watching women play right now in the PWHL, bring your daughters and your sons, because those little boys will then grow up to be men that respect women in the boardroom or wherever it may be, right? So it's not just like you bring your daughters to a Utah Mammoth game, right? So bring your both daughters and sons to women's hockey. So I would say my advice to kids as they explore or pursue what they want to do, whether it's hockey or something else, is find what the joy, find the fun, and then the passion will sort of be developed there, right? Because it's hard work. You and I both know that. There's days that it's really hard to do what we did, which is at the highest level. But even if you want to play high school sports or college sports, there's grinding days. There's days you got to work on things that you're not good at, and it's way more fun to work on things you're good at. I don't know what it was that you were good at, but I'm sure there was something that was fun for you to work on. But there's always a weakness in your game you got to work on that's maybe not as fun, but if you love it and you find the joy, then it's going to be easier to have those tough days. Whereas if you are doing it for another reason, or you're just, it's hard now. I mean, I don't know if your kids are into it, but like it becomes more and more of a job for these kids that are playing sports 11 months a year. And it's, I think to me, there's a lot of joy that is missing from that. So that would be my advice is figure out what brings you happiness.
Yeah. I mean, my son, I see it all the time. He's part of Division I hockey, ASU, and is, much as the men's side has grown with that whole, breaking of the NCAA, allowing CHL kids to play Division I hockey, not having to make a decision at 13 or 14 years old that affects the rest of your life. You can now go play college, and hockey at the highest level. What do you want to see? What needs to happen still for you? As much growth as we've seen in women's hockey, what's next?
I think there have been such huge strides made in the last couple of years because of the PWHL, right? So what Billie Jean King has done with Alana Kloss, her wife, what they've been able to and also the players, obviously. Kendall Coyne-Schofield's really the driver behind it, one of the big drivers behind it. What they've been able to do over the last couple of years is it has pushed the needle further than anything. It's been a huge jump. But with that said, there's still things that need, like, talking about where you're marketing to, right? Like, get back to my point, bring your daughters, bring your sons, bring whomever it is, and expand, right? So, I mean, I don't even know. I think I think Salt Lake would be an incredible place for a new PWHL team when they start expansion. In my opinion, like Madison, Wisconsin, Columbus, Ohio, like there's some really, really good hockey towns out there. So I think that there's that for that highest level, right? Because the talent is there. You don't want to go too quickly so it doesn't get diluted. And I think that, in terms of the grassroots, I would say it's probably the same on the boys and the girls side, whatever sport it is. Like the youth sports is getting hijacked by businesses, right? So I don't know how we fix that. I don't know how we put that genie back in the bottle, but it's so money driven right now that I think that there's something broken in the landscape of youth sports. And this is not just hockey, that it makes me really sad. But having gone through it as a mom and watching my kids do this stuff, you also don't want to have them not play, because sports is such an incredible thing and such an incredible experience. But then you see all the stuff that sort of makes it, that is starting to ruin it or has ruined it in some areas. So I don't know. I don't have any answer. I guess I'm just giving you a problem. I'm not giving you a solution. But those are some of the thoughts I have. I just think, and with women's sports right now, D1 sports, D1 college hockey is incredible. I mean, I did the Frozen Four at Penn State, and Wisconsin won again. They're incredible. Ohio State's amazing. So seeing the level of hockey right now is pretty awesome.
You always leave me confused, AJ. I got to admit that. I love you. I love you to death. Thank you for your time. Are you kidding me? I'll forgive you for the jersey because I do appreciate it now that I've been in the U.S. for about 25 years. But thanks for your time. I really enjoyed that. It's fun.
Totally
fun
my pleasure. And
talks.
I'm wondering if you've had somebody sort of like out talk you like me. I feel like it's like you like I kept cutting you off.
My ears bleeding.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, here I go. Just give me a platform and let me run. Well, I'm sorry you're avoiding me next time I'm in Salt Lake for their last game of the season. But for anybody else around, come say hi in the booth.
Enjoy it. Salt Lake, Utah Mammoth playoffs, baby. Let's go. That's going to be
playoffs. It's exciting.
Are you doing
thanks
the
for having
playoffs
me.
too? You better be doing the playoffs. Good.
I am.
Good.
I don't know where. We'll find out on Friday.
I love it. Well, congrats. Good luck. And thanks again, Age.
Thanks, Tyson.
Folks, how good was that? AJ Mleczko. I butchered her name a few times. I absolutely torched her. Actually, she torched me more than I torched her, I think. But what a conversation. We were busting chops. That's the only thing I miss. I don't miss playing, not for anything in me. In fact, I couldn't play when I played, folks. That's the type of player I was. But a conversation like that, I just felt like you're back in the locker room, right? Just busting chops. You got to have thick skin. I will say that. I mean, you got to be able to handle yourself. You have to have some massive confidence, which she does. And some of the stories she was firing off, and the hatred, folks, the actual hatred that they have, U.S. versus Canada, is a real thing. I didn't know how real. And even after the podcast, we just kept on texting and kept on talking about all the other stories that we really couldn't say on the podcast that was happening between Canada and the U.S., right? But she had her USA jersey. I'll give her that. The women, the men's, every 46 years, folks, we like to give you one.
Well, hey, I knew I should have known better than to leave you unsupervised with a Harvard graduate. That's not a fair fight right there. But a Hall of Famer, AJ Mleczko, a hockey legend, and it was fun chatting with her and Mike Monaco briefly when the ESPN folks are in town. Tyson, you do these national games, so you get a taste of this, but like you're a national broadcaster, you come in, you do a game, everybody kind of hates you because they want to hear their own guys, right? And then you fly off to a different city and do it all over again. But all the national people are great. Like I've never met one where I'm like, oh, they're a scumbag.
Oh, I know. And she's the best, like literally the best. And there's no one better than going out for a beer with than AJ after the game. I think she's coming in again to do another one here shortly. She loves Salt Lake City, minus the fact that she got a little edgy when I mentioned back in 2002 they lost and got the silver medal to Canada. She didn't want to talk about that one all that much, but boy, she wanted to talk about her gold medal all podcast long. So I missed you. I was getting torched. I was getting speed bagged. She's a smart girl. So and she's doing a great job. Does an outstanding job. She was the first ever woman broadcaster to ever do an NHL game in the regular season and in the playoffs. So congratulations to her. Very much a trailblazer in her entire career, where women's hockey is today. You can turn pro, there's drafts. I mean, all the things, right?
Yeah.
You love to see it. These girls deserve the same chance that all the boys do.
Well, the Utah Mammoth have their last regular season game coming up tomorrow. If you're listening to this on Wednesday, the last game of the year against the St. Louis Blues on Thursday at the Delta Center. And then it is off to the postseason for the Mountain Blue. So into the great beyond we go. Tyson, can't wait. Next time we do a show, we're going to have some playoff hockey to talk about. Can't wait.
Can't wait, buddy. Great job as always, folks. Love you. And we will see you soon, brother.